No, we fluctuate. I kind of agree with Manny. I fluctuate. Because we can use these three characteristics almost on a case-by-case basis, can't we? If there are times when something happens and we want to be victims, I use it when I'm dealing with the government. It's so wonderful to use this second thing that I'm in victim consciousness, and I'm really calling you Sacramento when you can talk to a real person, because I need help. And you're there, you have this job to help me. And so would you show me the way? You see? So we can use this stuff. But the third one is kind of interesting. I wrote that down this morning. It's the person, I like this. It's a person who wakes up and wonders, what happened? So the first one, we make life happening. The second one, it just life happens. And the third one, we wonder, what happened? And maybe we need to be like that sometimes too. I don't know. But anyway, with that third one, it's kind of interesting that we live by default. And so we develop our personality and our traits and our image based on what others think about us. We literally become somebody else. So our true nature is hidden somewhere down there, and we live this life of wondering, what happened? I'm by default. Oh gosh. And so then we create this idea of who we are based on what others say. What I love about this experience that I'm going through now is that I'm to that point, and I'm sure most of us are, to where we're kind of excited about what's going to happen tomorrow. Because when you get to that higher consciousness of knowing that I make life happen. I make it happen in my life. And so I wake up in the morning and I have to, I fluctuate as everybody else does. And when I wake up in that conscious image that says, I make life happen, then I can't wait to get my clothes on and go out the door and experience what's going on in the world. Because I know that I can make a difference. Isn't that cool? And we do that once in a while. And there are times like when I told you, when I'm dealing with the government, I want to be a victim there for a while and have them help me figure out what to do. And that's okay too. There's a cute story about a gal named Reverend Beth told us this story. Someone comes to her and she's fed up with life. We run into people like that. I'm so sick and tired of the negative that's going on in this world. But they still read the newspaper and they still watch the debates, for God's sakes. I'm so sick and tired of the way people treat each other. I'm hateful for it. I hate it. I hate nature sometimes. That minister said that the tsunami came because the people there have to atone for their sins and they all drown because of this. Those kinds of things. And I'm sick and tired of the disease that's going on. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of everything that's going on in the world. Have we seen people like that? We're never going to be one of those. So Reverend Beth listened to this diatribe and this person in total victim consciousness expressing what? That second point of view, right? The second point of view. And so Reverend Beth said, what is it that you want? And she says, I want to be peaceful, I want to be quiet, and I want to have no worries. That's what I want in this life. That's all I want. I want peacefulness, I want to be quiet, and I want to have no worries. And then Reverend Beth made this statement to her. She says, is this the image that you're developing of yourself, of who and what you are, and you're asking the universe to make this happen for you? Yes, that's what I want. And she says, are you certain on this? Have you any idea what you're asking for? And she says, yes, I do. I want to be peaceful, I want to be quiet, and I want to have no worries. And she says, what you're asking for is you want to become a head of lettuce. You got it. And Reverend Beth said, this is a true story, by the way. Reverend Beth said, a vegetable is peaceful, a vegetable has no worries, and a vegetable is quiet. And then it grows for a certain time, and then it's done, and it leaves. We are not here to be vegetables. We are not here to be peaceful and quiet and to have no worries. That's not our duty assignment. What are we here for? Bob and I had lots of conversations on purpose. I told him, and this is really cool, and I've never won the argument, that God has no purpose for us. Ooh, wow. But so we're in that debate. I've never won that debate, by the way. But we do create our own purposes, don't we? And to me, I'm a visitor here, and I'm talking to you about that before, but I'm here to experience all of it. I'm here to experience all of it. But I'm here to experience it from a higher level of consciousness that you know, from that phase one, that I'm here to make life happen. So from that conscious, we can wake up in the morning, put our clothes on and go out there and kick, I'm getting better, aren't I? Yeah, a little bit, not that much. Norman Vincent Peale tells us that this idea of image making is like something like mental engineering. Isn't that interesting? Norman Vincent Peale, mental engineering. And he says that there is a powerful force in the universe, and it's very mysterious, that when plugged into it, is capable of bringing tremendous gifts into our life and to change everything for us. When you look at Webster, the word image comes from imagination. Again, we have the power to create in consciousness something that's not apparent in the human in the third dimension yet. We have that power to literally create something that is not apparent in the third dimension. Does that make any sense? Yeah, we can do that. I mean, and sometimes when we're sleeping at night, we can create the idea that we're flying. When I was very young, how many of you flew when you were young in dreams? And see that there's a message there if you interpret dreams. I don't try not to do that because then I get depressed. But when I was younger, a young kid who didn't know any better, I could fly. And it was kind of neat, and I look forward to every night doing that. What illustrates all of this is what happened to Norman Cousins many, many years ago. Norman was told that he had a terrible terminal type illness, and that it may be terminal. And Norman thought about it for a while, and he said, you know, I want to evaluate what I'm like. What kind of an image have I presented that brings this stuff into my experience? Because he knew that which is in the inside is manifest on the outside. So he evaluated his life. You know what he found out? He found out that he was an angry man, that he got irritated over little things, that he was always depressed, always worrying about the future, always thinking about the past. And it was a mess. And his life turned out to be a mess, and it was affecting his health. And he said, I'm going to change all this. And what he did was, he said, I want to create the image that I'm a happy individual, that I look forward to every day, and that I love the challenges. It helps me to grow. And so what he did, he started looking at humor. He read books that were funny. And what he wanted to do was become, in mind, a happy person. He checked out as many roles of film that had a lot of comedy in them. And he did this for a period of time. And what happened was a shocking revelation. He was in so much pain that he couldn't sleep at night, and he discovered something. He discovered that just a mere 5 minutes of laughter, 5 minutes where he's connected to that, allowed him to sleep several hours without pain. Isn't that amazing? And so he went on to live 20 more years. And if you want to read about his life, he wrote the book, The Anatomy of an Illness, that explains how we can create that image of who we are, who we think we are, who we'd like to be, and change our entire life. And he did this, and what he did, he went from that second dimension that I talked to you about, that second characteristic of being a victim and a whiner, to the first, of creating his life. Creating the life that he wanted to experience. There's a physicist by the name of John Wheeler. How many of you know about John Wheeler?